The recent debut of Destiny, Bungie's new outer space adventure, has stormed the game industry, proving to be a wild success. While Destiny will almost certainly prove to be the top-selling game of this year, it's only the most recent of a long line of games that are set in the far reaches of outer space. Take a look at other great games set in the stars as we count down gaming's top 10 interstellar adventures. Number 10, Magical Starsign. This role-playing game was released for the DS, and it involves a group of students traveling across a fantasy solar system to rescue their missing professor. With a storyline involving goofy cops, pirate otters, and edible enemies, Magical Starsign is not a game that takes itself seriously, and lots of light-hearted fun can be found in this charming handheld adventure. Number 9, Star Ocean. This Japanese series blends science fiction and fantasy together, mixing starships battles with sword fighting and magic. The Star Ocean games offer dynamic, exciting battle systems, huge planets to explore, and storylines that twist and turn and build on the game's massive amount of lore. Any fan who wants a futuristic spin on their sword and sorcery role-playing game should give this series a look. Number 8, Star Fox. Most of us are familiar with Nintendo's famous space shooter series. In Star Fox, you control an R-Wing fighter and pilot it through asteroid fields, worn-torn cities, and enemy encampments. Shooting down enemy ships is tremendous fun, as is swerving through rings, dodging obstacles, and firing smart bombs. Later games in the series would add adventure elements and a ground-based shooting, but the spaceship segments are what the series does best. Number 7, Dead Space. This famous horror series pits players against the necromorphs, space zombies that serve as some of the most fearsome foes in recent memory. Gamers who have been trained to aim for the head won't find that helpful here, as these enemies can only be taken down through dismemberment, forcing players to experience the terror up close. The space setting is used to great effect, especially in one memorable sequence that requires the player to walk along a ship's hull in utter silence. Number 6, Star Wars. Star Wars has always broken the old rule of licensed games being terrible. Many Star Wars games have proven to be fun and well made. Some standouts include the old Super Star Wars games on the Super NES, the addictive Star Wars Battlefront Combat series, and the highly regarded Knights of the Old Republic games by BioWare and Obsidian. If the positive reception to BioWare's ongoing Star Wars MMO is any indication, the galaxy far, far away will be a haven for gamers for years to come. Number 5, System Shock. Fans of BioShock can look into this series as its older brother. The two System Shock games are famous for their bleak, frightening atmosphere, their frantic combat, their sinister storytelling, and the memorably insane AI that serves as the main villain. Many features we take as standard for shooters, such as weapon reloading and character positioning, were popularized by these games. Number 4, Metroid. The Metroid series is all about being stranded on an alien planet and stations and finding your way out. These games are the pinnacle of exploration, where abilities are valuable not for how they help you blast bad guys, but for what new doors they can open for you. Every room in Metroid has a secret, and each time you play the game, you'll find yourself wondering what hidden treasures you'll find that you missed last time. The old-school 2D games are excellent platformers with a wide, nuanced depth of play. And the Metroid Prime series did the impossible and transferred the Metroid formula to a first-person shooter format, creating a shooter that is moodier and more atmospheric than the others in its kind. With the exception of the most recent game, Metroid Other M, every game in this series is a home run. Number 3, Halo. What more can be said? It's Halo. This series debuted almost 15 years ago, and it's still iconic. Halo introduced memorable, streamlined gunplay and revolutionized the first-person shooter through its creative level design and incredibly fun multiplayer. You'll find a pretty interesting story hiding behind all the gameplay as well. Every time a new Halo game comes out, it's a big deal, and for good reason. Number 2, StarCraft. Basically, every real-time strategy game that's been made since the 90s owes a huge debt to StarCraft. The unique flavor and careful balancing of the 3 playable factions has let the game age marvelously well, to the point that it's still one of the most played tournament games. Not bad, especially considering that this game basically launched the competitive gaming scene. StarCraft 2 plays just as solidly as its predecessor, even if it's not quite as big of an icon. If you're a fan of the RTS genre, chances are I don't need to sing StarCraft's praises to you. You know already. Number 1, Mass Effect. In Mass Effect, you create your avatar, Commander Shepard, controlling his or her appearance, gender, and even backstory. What makes Mass Effect such a fantastic game is the sheer amount of choices the player has at their disposal as they progress through the story. Seemingly inconsequential choices may come back to help or haunt the player later, and the sequels remember what choices you made in order to create a thread that lasts through the trilogy. Mixed with gameplay that flawlessly blends shooter and role-playing elements and memorable, well-written characters, and the Mass Effect trilogy cements its place as some of the most fantastic science fiction games ever. We've always been entranced by outer space and the stars, and this obsession has shown itself in books, movies, and yes, video games. Whether you decide to explore the moon in Destiny or pick up one of the other space games, the experts here at GamerU wish you luck and remind you to reach for the stars.